I'm joined now by the inimitable Eddie Whisler, director of the Planetarium at MOSH, the Museum of Science and History. Eddie, welcome.
Yay!
Eddie, you're going to be here once a month now to give us
Yes.
kind of a night sky preview and to talk a little bit about outer space and
Yeah,
science.
yeah. All kinds of things.
What's catching your eye right now?
Well, if you go out tonight, you can find my favorite constellation. It's cliche, but it's real. And you'll love it because it's just bright. And that's why I love it. And it's Orion is front and center if you face south in the nighttime sky.
Why is that a cliche?
Because everybody loves Orion. Everybody knows Orion. But of course, it's because he's a handsome guy. He's one of those constellations that actually looks like what they're supposed to be. Most of them are not.
I mean, other than perhaps the Dippers, which
Dipper. Okay, so the Dippers look like there's I'd say about 10% of them look something like what they're supposed to be. The rest of them, there's one that's two stars connected by a single line. It's supposed to be a dog.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, you have to really lay out there and study the stars to come up with the dog.
Yeah, no, it's objectively the worst constellation you can. It's 2 stars, single line. Should be a pencil.
So I want to talk to you about stars because even if Orion is a cliche, you might go out and look at it tonight and you're going to notice something about it, like with a lot of stars.
Oh, yeah. It's so poetic. It's going to twinkle. And people love the twinkling of the stars. But to somebody who is a professional astronomer, twinkle is a pain in the eye. It's horrible. It is distortion. It is... Have you ever, imagine you put on a mask, you go to the bottom of a pool, and you look at people who are outside of the pool, and you look at their faces. Are their faces coming through the same way that it is just in regular conversation?
I mean, sometimes they look like they're split in half almost.
Split in half, warping, warbling, there's a fluid in the pool. You're at the bottom of an ocean of air above your heads, above all of our heads. And when we look at the twinkle in the stars, that only happens through the atmosphere. If you're in outer space, the stars are just solid beams of light points of light, but coming straight at you, no distortion. And so all of that twinkling happens in the atmosphere. And so there was a research proposal, a project proposal to remove the atmosphere from the Earth, the cursed, life-giving atmosphere, but it got denied. And so now astronomers have to do other things.
Who made such a proposal?
I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Eddie. It's the time where you kind of need an additional cup of coffee in the morning to perhaps catch all of the Eddie Whisler humor.
There you go. Think about it. That would be an undertaking.
Well, I mean, we have managed to do a lot to change the atmosphere, right?
And other systems of the Earth, no doubt. So there are other ways you could put a telescope in space, but the more interesting way is the next thing that we have to remove the cursed twinkle from the stars is something called adaptive optics.
What's that?
So how much time do we have?
You have like 2.5 minutes.
Oh, we could lay back and really, so you have all of this warping. You have this turbulent atmosphere overhead, and that distorts the image. But what we have are these adaptive optics systems that we built into these enormous, incredible telescopes around the world that actively remove the warping from the light that arrives at the telescopes. Now, how they do this is they fit these telescopes with these adaptive optics systems. On the backside of a deformable mirror, because telescopes are many things mirrors, right? A mirror is what collects the light and focuses it on the instruments that are going to, detect the different characteristics of the light that we're interested in. And so what they're going to do is they fit them with these actuators, like little muscles by the thousands at the back of these mirrors, and they have a way, let's just say it's a way to tell precisely how warped the light is, and then these actuators move 1,000 times a second, thousands of them moving 1,000 times a second to precisely unwarp or undo the terrible warping that the atmosphere has done. So it's the deformable mirror that then puts that light back into its high definition. You get preciseness at the end by undoing the warping of the atmosphere overhead.
That's an extraordinary level of work to go to try to normalize that light beam.
No
But,
doubt. How awesome are humans?
well, it's also kind of nice to see the twinkle, though, right?
You know, go outside and enjoy it. But if you want to understand the universe, it's the worst thing that you could do. And so it's really expensive to put telescopes up in space. And so having something like this is just allows us to have as good a view into the universe. And if something breaks, you don't have to have astronauts go up into space to fix the thing. It's right there. You make the fixes.
Well, Eddie Whisler from MOSH, thank you so much for being here and explaining that twinkle.
Oh, you're so welcome.